think it's time that we go on a little bit of a rant for the elephant in the room, which is the contributions of our union fellowship members who have gone unnoticed and unrecognized by our local. Some of their names include Michael Sr., Aaron, Bruce, B., Thomas, Cassandra, Teresa, Frederick, Mike, Chris, Al, Daniel, Tom, D., and some of the coalitions between properties and the coalitions to bring about the number of assaults. Have you heard of them outside of Portland? Have we heard of outstanding members outside of the Portland district? The answer is no. We haven't given the proper recognition that these members deserve. Can you find them in, say, the labor press? Some of their contributions, especially in the Portland district, have been over the workman's comp issue, communications between members and members from other properties, some charity, valor, collaborations on, of course, the assault issue, and violations of the Fair Labor Standards Act, which in turn cost members money on a daily basis. These types of contributions need to be held in a high standard and mentioned quite frequently. And instead of talking about 1,000 grievances, maybe we should start uplifting our membership, because suppressing activism will destroy a union. It's not about you, it's about the membership. Next, we need to talk about the ignoring of some of the harder issues that continues to plague our local, at least in Portland. We have no idea what's going on in some of the other properties because nothing gets mentioned, and we're pretty much segregated as a union as a whole. You may disagree with that. Proof is in the pudding. Some of the things that have plagued the Portland district that you've ignored is the workman's comp issue, FLMA, communication gaps between yourselves and the membership and or other properties. And one of the bigger issues out of a couple of issues is the violations of the Fair Labor Standards Act, which members continuously lose money on a daily basis, and you have yet to even remotely acknowledge it, probably because members were the ones that have brought this issue forward. Secondly, one of the things that you've ignored wholeheartedly since the issues of attacks on workers have escalated since 2012, and you've said nothing, you've done nothing. Your office has ignored the problem wholeheartedly, although you're aware of what's going on. This year alone, since you don't know, we're currently at 37 attacks against transit workers. Mirror that with last year, we only had about 17. So you can see the jump at yet another record year. One of the things that you've ignored and you've tried to take credit for and even publicized in our local circular was reviving the Rider Advocate program. In the past, the district has gotten rid of it because it costs, but you knew that. You knew that they weren't going to invest anything into anything other than what their strategic financial plan is. So since rider advocacy was not on their list, as you should well know, your plan to try and get them to help fund that was a dead cause. But in 2015, when we brought up the rider advocate need and we were volunteering to take trips, there was a coalition of members who wanted to step up and do this because they wanted to help out some of the more dangerous routes. But fast forward to this May, I believe, you put out there that you were trying to get the Rider Advocate program back. Or let's say you put it in this. you put it in this so that you are putting out there that you were for a rider advocate program that you yourself ignored. So who is this for? Is it for us in Portland or for the other properties that don't know our situation and only get it through our labor press? Well, again, that's disingenuous and that's misleading, and of course, it's plagiarism. So if you really wanted to attack the assault problem, then maybe you should pay attention to what's actually going on instead of trying to pick and choose what you will and will not do. Because it's not about you, it's about the membership and our needs. Secondly, this idea of putting our stuff in local circulars was a member's idea, yet that member never got credit for the idea. But that's a culture which has been created long before any of us got there. Okay, now we need to talk about something a little bit more in depth. They say 3 months creates a habit, and over a decade creates a culture. And that culture we're talking about is suppressing activism, or taking ideas of others, or not really handling the harder issues. First off, let's talk about taking the ideas of others and passing them off as your own. Take, for instance, just recently, one of our union members was publicly humiliated for using the restroom in a parking lot. As it happened, you did nothing. You said nothing. It was brought to your attention at 2 consecutive union meetings, and you did nothing. So a coalition of our paratransit and our fixed route decided to handle that themselves and help out our fellow union brothers and sisters. Also, we're under the same umbrella of a parent company, so the parent company saw and came up with their own solution of providing passes to restrooms. The issue was forced by members, not you. When you decided you weren't going to have anything to do with it, it was us that took the initiative and helped out our fellow union members. The part that is very disturbing is that you tried to take credit for it. You put it in the paper that this was an actual issue, holding a toilet, spouting all kinds of things that you chose not to even address in 2 consecutive meetings. That's disingenuous, and it's also plagiarism, if you want to use that legal phrase. Secondly, let's take one of the issues that I'm sure you're going to be talking about in the coming months is House Bill 2717, and let's break that down. That was supposed to be the assault issue that our local put in front of our local legislatures to increase penalties for assaulting transit workers. Well, 2 of our members took an idea and extrapolated it out. They partnered with their local legislature and they had a bill created. You took that entire idea that they had and you watered it down, and you partnered with Portland's Transit District to put forth what would be House Bill 2717. Now, that is considered plagiarism at the highest form because, one, you put these folks down who put in the hard work. You talked rudely about them needing to contact you, not you need to contact them. So suppressing activism is what you do, and then you try and take credit for it. Was this all a ruse so that you can show the rest of our properties that you're actively taking care of business when in actuality you're just plagiarizing ideas, not giving full credit to the members that put in the hard work. That's just disingenuous and unbecoming of stewards of our local. Let's talk about recognition of members who have gone above and beyond their calling and done great things that our local has yet to recognize and or even acknowledge. Two acts of valor last year, which saw our union members saving lives of pedestrians who were trying to commit suicide. I have to call out your names, Thomas and Teresa. You guys have showed us how great we can be as public servants. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, we want to talk about our sister, Cassandra. I know she didn't want to get mentioned as giving thanks, but she did something extraordinary for us as a local that hasn't been recognized, probably never will be recognized. But she decided she wanted to dress up our break rooms. And I'm not talking about one, I'm talking about almost all of them. What she did was she took money out of her own pocket and dressed up the break rooms with TVs, cable, condiments, microwaves. Wow. She did that on her own. She didn't ask for recognition, but we're going to take the time out to say thank you, sister. Thank you. But we want to contrast that and those good works that these individuals did as just pillars of our society. We want to contrast that with friendships. And what I mean by friendships is one of our hardworking stewards that is a friend that you made sure that they got an award and you took a photo op with them holding that award. There's not discounting her service whatsoever, but she's your friend. And these other individuals didn't get recognition, or what if our other properties had these same types of individuals that go unrecognized? But you made sure that your friend got an award, which, again, she so deserves. But our union is bigger than just friendships. There are individuals in our union that should be recognized. Maybe we should create our own Union Member of the Year award to be given to our members that have done outstanding things. You take ideas, this is a good idea for you to take, and show that there's more than just friendships. This is about union business and building a union that takes pride in its membership. Can it be done? You're so used to stealing ideas. This is one you should steal. Let's talk about JANIS again for the second time. And for anybody that doesn't know what JANIS is, it's a Supreme Court case that will decide the fate of public employee unions or create a national right to work. Well, at our last charter meeting, we discussed JANIS and how we do in the future or in the new future. And what we found alarming was that our side decided to capitulate before anything actually happened. Where's the fight? Where's the struggle to keep our union together? Instead of falling on the sword, aren't you supposed to be leaders? When you were called out on it, why did you stutter with an answer? That wasn't an answer. Fast forward, you were given an answer. What are you going to do about it now? You talk about relationships that we have with other locals. Okay, what are you doing? Well, if you want to take an idea, here's one for you. Why don't you partner with other public employee unions, and since we're going through the primary in the state of Oregon, why don't you partner with them and push for the same thing that they did in New York with Governor Cuomo, who decided to add something in their state budget that protects employee unions' rights. Okay, now did you want to steal that idea, or you want to suppress it and not do anything about it? So for future sake, anybody that comes to our members and start talking about the catchphrase collectively and then moving it forward, if they use this more than once, then they're full of lies, because collectively we do very little as an entire union, not just properties that are segregated by distance. Well, let's change that. Let's talk about 3 things that we should be using as a new catchphrase. Number 1, diversity. Number 2, inclusion. Number 3, equity. What I mean by that? Diversity in our membership makes us strong. Inclusion of our memberships makes us balanced. Equity for our membership for the future of our local. Those 3 words, diversity, inclusion, and equity, should be how we move forward.